James, huge congratulations. Off and running at the European Championships. A hard-fought victory over Steve Lennon. Must be happy with that.
Yeah. A bit sticky at times. Probably not where I should have been or how I could have been. But, he's not an easy opponent. But playing my best game, he should be. But, I won and I'm good enough and I got through. So very, very happy. Thank you very much.
We've seen some form from you on the Euro Tour that suggests your game is on the way back up again, where you expect it to be.
I'm sure there's not that many people that average 100 every time they win, but yeah, Phil, that's good.
As well, we've seen you change darts recently, go to your Unicorn Code darts. You're one of the very rare professionals that haven't tinkered with their equipment much. Was that a big decision to make?
Not really, if you're playing really, really rubbish, and someone like myself finds it quite easy to average 100, and I haven't been for a very, very long time. I was quite happy to change and make the step forward. So,
as well, you won this tournament 2 years ago. It's obviously defending that ranking money. Is that extra pressure on your shoulders?
No, I expect a little bit more panache from you for an interview towards that respect. But it is a big thing for me to defend. It's been and gone. I'm down to a number, I think 11 or 12 or 13. But the positive thing for my career is playing really, really bad, and I'm still there. So that's a good thing, And all the little whippersnappers that think they're doing really well and playing really well, some of them aren't above me. So that's all good.
Looking for the rest of the year, obviously you've hibernated in the top 10 in the world for over a decade. Is that the plan to get back in there as soon as possible?
I'm not too worried about it, to be fair. I think there's bigger world worries than me staying in the top 10. And I'm really not sure what's going on with the world, and the same with the people that are important enough, that have the decisions, that have the answers. What do you do, I'm really lucky, I think, in some ways, that I'm still playing darts. But, when I go home, I look at my son and I look at my wife, more my son, to be fair, and I think, have I got COVID or not, and that for myself is very, very uncomfortable. But, there's a lot of dart players that have to carry the same weight and the same burden.
Touching on what you said there, have you found the last couple of weeks then uncomfortable travelling all the time away from Samantha and Arthur?
I honestly believe that there's no dart player that hasn't felt that burden. But, I don't want to sound cliche, but the show must go on. If it was up to me, it wouldn't. But as everyone else is playing and everyone else is part of it, you got people that are paying still to watch darts, and it's perhaps their doom and gloom answer, out of that. But if I'm honest, I'm very, very grateful I'm still playing darts, but I'd be quite happy to sit back and relax for a little while.
James, pleasure as always, mate. Thank you very much, and wish you all the very best in the next round.
Cheers, Tom.
Hi, James. Congratulations on a good win. Is it difficult for you to focus on darts rather than life as a whole and COVID as you spoke about there?
As I said earlier, my story doesn't change much. It's not a story, actually, it's factual. It's the closest I've been to retirement, and retirement's bloody great. But, the reality is, we still have to work, and in some ways, I think it's helped probably the bit of the British public, to still play. It gives them a little bit of something to get up for. It's a hard question to answer, to be fair. But I think in some ways the British public need to have that. I don't want to sound cliche, but it's a stiff upper lip, and we'll keep going forwards because that's what we do. We've always done it, and we'll always will do it.
Mm-hmm. We spoke about retirement before, and which is I can't even get into my head, James Wade, thinking of retiring at your age. But does it cross your mind with the COVID thing, and you spent so much time at home with Sammy and Arthur during full lockdown? It must be a wrench for you coming back and getting back on planes and going abroad again.
I'll be honest with you, darts is very, very easy to win at the moment. And all the time I think I can win, all the time I know I can win, I'll still be in it. I think at the moment, darts is probably one of the easiest standards we've had in probably 4, maybe 5 years. Not easiest. That's not the correct language, but I believe that it's not as close knit and it's not as hard as it used to be.
Okay.
That's the right word, I think.
Good stuff. Well, listen, thanks for your time, James. It's much appreciated. Thank you.
Rob, can you just answer? Yeah, can you jump in quickly for us, please, Rob?
Just wondered, James, thanks for your time. Was there a conversation during lockdown where you decided you wanted to carry on darts? Was there a conversation where you came close to retirement during lockdown?
The harsh reality is I don't think I'm finished with darts, and also I'm not in a position to retire. But I don't think that retirement is even close to my lips at the moment. And there's a lot of young whippersnappers that I still want to show them how it's done.
When you look at your career, is it just the Worlds that's left, or do you have more ambitions, perhaps?
I get asked that so much, and it's quite not a tiring question, not a boring question. There's a lot of players like to have achieved what I've achieved. Obviously the Worlds would be a lovely thing. I still believe I'll win one. I still believe I'll win money, many other TV titles. But talk is cheap, and we can all talk again, can't we?
And just finally from me, obviously, when you come back to the UK, a lot of events potentially behind closed doors. Does that change the dynamic? You're playing with a crowd, obviously, at the moment. Does that change the dynamic?
Yeah, of course.
Approach?
You've only got to see some of the winners that have won major tournaments, and would they have won it under normal circumstances? No, not a chance. The standard that has been over tournaments, it wouldn't have happened. You can't say that either. It is what it is, and I think without a crowd, a lot of the other players have had a chance to step forwards and put their name on the mark. But I think with full crowds, you wouldn't have seen the few winners you have done in the recent events.
Thanks, James. Thank you, Jamie, as well.
No problem, mate. Patrick, if you've got one question, that's fine. But if not, we'll let James go. But just one from you, please, if that's all right.
Yeah, James. Hey, it's Patrick. It's 2 years ago you won against Max in the semifinals, and Max told me these days this was one of his hardest losses in his career. How do you see him performing, and why isn't he developing as well as some experts expected?
I've got to be completely honest. He shouldn't be really surprised or shocked. He's a good player, but I feel I beat him every day. So